Museum of History Studios. You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Sorry if that was a little loud. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Addressing Gettysburg's Ask a Gettysburg Guide. We're talking today about Cutler's Brigade, starting a little early, so probably nobody's even in the room yet. But soon you will be, and we will have a show for you here. Charlie Fennell is our guest today. Welcome, Charlie.
Hey, glad to be here.
Glad to have you as always. You are a fan favorite and our favorite as well. We had pizza with you, and we laughed and we told stories, and
some of them were even true.
Yes. And Mikey B is sitting here in the studio today. Hello, Mikey. How are you?
Hello, Matthew.
Oh,
I can't believe we're here with Charlie again.
I
How
know.
blessed.
Our cups runneth over.
You know, he gave the best answer today when you said, "What's new?" What was your answer, Charlie?
It's
Not a damn thing. That's the worst.
No, that's not what you
that's
said.
not what you
No, I
said.
said that's the worst thing you can ask a historian.
That's right.
What's new? And it's not a damn thing.
And that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And then in the back there, we've got our friend Court Micker. He is back there as always, often. And there he is. Hey, Court, how are you? With
Doing
your
well.
Save the Clock Tower
Doing well.
shirt.
Save it.
Very
Hill Valley Preservation Society.
good. Yeah.
Donate and then get the flyers so you know when lightning will strike.
Right. Right. Where do you find that shirt?
I got it at heritagedepot.com.
Did you really?
Nope.
Oh, I was going to say, I didn't know we had that shirt.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Okay. It's a cool shirt, though. I like it.
But heritagedepot.com.
Yes. And it's heritage-depot.com. But thank you anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is Charlie has to get out of here by 8:30. So what we're going to do tonight is something a little unorthodox. And we're going to get the sponsor just out of the way right now. And then we're going to come back with no commercial interruptions. We're going to do the whole story of Cutler's Brigade and go straight into our questions. Of course, we want to hear from you. That means super chats of $10 or more are read on the air if you don't want to call in. And if you don't want to pay, then give us a call at 717-420-1978, and you'll do that on my dime, okay? All right.
When you're dragging ass out of bed, the hair's mussed up on your head. You picture the 20th Maine, and you're happy once again. Fight the battle against being slow with Little Brown Top Road.
Little Ground Top, ladies and gentlemen. I've got some great news for those of you who love coffee and you love your Little Ground Top. And when you come into town and you go to Bantam Roasters and, oh no, they've run out, you watch the person in front of you buy the last 2 bags and you say, "You jerk.
Unbelievable.
How could you do that to me? Can you spare a bag? Can I have one of those?" And no, my wife needs 2. She loves Little Ground Top. This is a common occurrence. But now when you come to town, if they're out at Bantam, you can go to the Ragged Edge over on Chambersburg Street, the
Wow.
original great Gettysburg coffee house.
Wow.
You can go over there and you can get a bag of Little Ground Top too. But I got to warn you, they're doing pretty well over there also. So, you know, you got to get to town. But of course, the best way to do it is not come to town and get a bag. Best way to do it is to go to addressinggettysburg.com/cafe and order your bag now.
Oh, I want some coffee.
It's my favorite drug.
It is a wonderful drug. All right. Mikey, you were upset that you never got a bag of Little Ground Top. There you go. Okay, you got to grind it yourself.
That's all I wanted today.
See you later, Mike.
See you, Mike.
Have a good night.
Hey, don't forget your bag.
Oh, shit.
Close the door, please.
Yeah,
Close the door.
All right, so Cutler's Brigade, Charlie.
Yes.
They were a brigade in the Union Army, the Army of the Potomac, and they fire. Well, one of their regiments fires the first volley, infantry volley in the Battle of Gettysburg for the Union side.
That's correct. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it was the 56th Pennsylvania.
Right.
Yeah, and they fired the first shot. I was reading an account where the guy said that the battle isn't a battle until the infantry are engaged.
Right.
If you tell them the battle starts at 7:30 in the morning when Marcellus Jones fires the first shot from Knoxland Road Ridge. That's not really true. It's just preliminaries. It's not until the infantry become engaged that you have a battle, that you have an engagement. You see.
But so, in other words, when the infantry is engaged against infantry,
Right.
not engaged against cavalry or something else.
Yes, that's correct.
When you have rifles going on.
Right. Rifles are key. But I don't know who made that assumption.
Well, I mean,
I don't ask.
it makes
I don't know.
some sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
for-
they do the heavy lifting in the army,
Right,
the
they do.
infantry. So
And it's the bulk of the army.
yeah,
By far.
yeah, and then you're committed, I guess, when your infantry
I've
is
been committed
fighting,
many times.
right?
And they can't get away as fast.
Yeah,
No,
That's
they
the
can't.
big difference.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah,
in.
Cutler's one of the things to keep in mind. I mean, they're overshadowed by the Iron Brigade. It's like coming on after Elvis, Who Wants to Hear You?
Right.
And so they actually led the march from Marsh Creek into Pennsylvania. They were the first brigade of infantry to arrive on the field of Gettysburg. And Reynolds must have had some premonition there might be a problem because the Iron Brigade should have led. Because the day before, Cutler led, and he usually rotates so you don't suck the
Right.
dust of
Dust
everyone.
all day,
But
yeah.
he told Cutler, "You get going, and the Iron Brigade will follow." And
Well, was that just because they were closer to Gettysburg?
were. They were.
And it was an emergency.
Buford had seen Confederates, and he expected to see them again,
Right.
and so this would facilitate the arrival of infantry.
This is prior to when Buford even starts fighting, or he's already
let's say
underway.
they start leaving at 7.
Okay,
First shots fired 7:30.
So he's about to start.
Yeah, about to
The
start.
fighting starts while they're on their way.
They're on their way. Yeah.
And so, right, so they're the ones who get in there. How long does it take them to make that march? What is it, 6-7 miles?
Yeah, they get here around a little after 10.
A little after 10.
Yeah, so remember when they first started out, they're taking their time.
Mm-hmm.
And then Reynolds comes, talks to Buford. They have that little discussion, and all of a sudden Reynolds realizes the need for speed.
Right.
And so he goes back and orders them to move at a quicker pace.
And they cut across
Yeah,
fields.
now Reynolds, he will leave after his little discussion with Buford there about the Confederates coming in from different directions. He will go back, and as he's going back, from what I understand, it's one way or the other, but he had his staff tear down fences
Mm-hmm.
so that when these guys arrive, they can quickly get to the battlefield without having to worry about knocking down fences. You don't want to go through town.
Right.
There's too many traffic lights. You'll never hit them all green. So he wants to get them out of town. Town's always a choke point.
Yeah.
Even before traffic lights.
Sure. But it also goes a little bit out of the way
It does. It's
from
right.
where you want to go.
Straight line's better
Right.
than the angle.
He doesn't have to go through Culp Park,
Right, doesn't, no.
right? It's
Yeah.
just wide open fields.
Right.
And that's probably not even where they're cutting off the road anyway. It's
They cut
before
off
that
the road.
by the
I was
Cadore
like-
farm,
Yeah,
right?
Cadore farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Cutler waited on the road for a while, and they were waiting to see where they were going to be ordered to go. And it was up by the Klingel farm, I guess. And these guys are looking at these cherry trees. They got this look on their face like, boy, those look good like cherries. And so Cutler went down and he told them, he said, "Now remember, boys, you're not supposed to harm those trees."
Right.
And so they took the hint and they went and pulled all the cherries off of them.
Right. Leave the trees alone.
So
yeah.
that's the way Cutler is. But a lot of people don't really like him because he's pretty hard.
Was that Cutler or was it the major
I
of the
think it was
regiment?
the major of the regiment.
Yeah, Yeah, but still,
So 76 New York was leading.
right.
Right.
It's funny.
Yeah.
The 76 New York book that I pulled out in the
Right.
back there,
Yeah.
that was the first thing I read was that
the
story.
cherry.
Yeah.
Well, Cutler saw him. I mean, he was watching them pull the cherries off.
Yeah, well,
He
why
didn't
not?
say anything. The trees were fine. Yeah, and so from there they go down the Emmitsburg Road till they get to where a staff officer from Reynolds is waiting for him at the Cadore farm, and then they cut across.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where they cross the Seminary Ridge is a bone of contention. I've seen 3 different places. They come past the McMillan House, okay, there, and that's what what's his name wrote the book on. It was right here in front of me, but I didn't bring it in. But anyway, that's what he says. I have a friend of mine that wrote a little thing on the brigade, and he says it was probably the Schultz house. I always thought it was the
was it?
Schmucker house that they came across. Because I remember reading an account years ago, and don't ask me where I got it, but it said that Mrs. Schmucker had laid out pails of water for the men, and they were dipping it as they went by, but it was slowing down the column.
Uh-huh.
And Cutler came along and saw that and kicked the pails of water over.
Oh.
And she said it was the most unchristian action she'd ever seen in her life. But it was slowing them down. See, anyway.
But see, now that makes sense because I'm so I'm picturing it from like the Kadori farm.
Yes.
I'm thinking you're going right up to where Confederate Avenue is now.
Right.
But that's only because Culp Park is in the way. There's a
Right,
bunch of
all
stuff in the way, which wasn't in the way back
No,
then.
it wasn't.
Well, some of those things could also be true at the same time, right? You can still go past the McMillan house and then go past the Schmucker house.
That's
They're in
true.
a straight line.
Well, yeah, you could,
Yeah.
you
South
could
to
turn
north.
on the ridge.
Yeah.
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 And was there a road there? Because, later on, Gamble ends up on that fence line there
Yeah.
with Califf.
If there was anything there, it was a farmer's lane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually at work found a picture, and I think it's modern day Hay Street.
Okay.
Okay.
By
Ooh.
the seminary, and there was, maybe like a 4-foot wide path. I wouldn't call it a road or anything, but I think it dated to 18. I think the picture itself dated to probably just after the battle. It was an old Tipton picture. So
Wow. Okay.
I think there was a lane, but they somehow turned it into Hay Street, and it was captioned Hay Lane or something. I
Oh,
don't
that
know.
could be. Yeah.
Yeah. What? Hay Street, isn't that the one that goes, but basically straight into the pathway that walks up to the front door of the seminary building?
I think Hay Street is like you cut across. It would be the
It goes across north and south.
Yes,
Yeah, it
yes.
does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It
All right.
links the Chambersburg Pike to the Fairfield Road.
Yeah. Okay. So that's not what I'm thinking. Mikey B has something to read.
Yeah,
everybody.
we had a super chat from Bill Chesley. Bill, thank you, because we had pizza, and that helps pay for that pizza.
Yes, sir.
So
thank you
Bill.
very much, Bill.
So it's something that you kind of alluded to. He said, did Cutler have a bad PR team or what? They hardly get the publicity of Buford or the Iron Brigade. What is
Yeah.
interesting is he's an Iron Brigade man, right?
Yeah, he came
Cutler.
out of 6 Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
He organized.
He organized it.
He
didn't he?
organized.
Yeah.
It, yeah. Yeah, he's kind of irascible. He was born in 1807, so he's a little older than some there. And he went to local schools. Let's see what else. He was a schoolmaster because he could beat up everybody in the class. They had trouble keeping a schoolmaster to school because the ruffians would rough him up and they'd leave.
Mm.
Well, the first thing he does is go in there and calls them out one at a time and beats the hell out of them.
No, really?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, that's the good old days.
and that's instilling. That's
can't do that
instilling
anymore.
discipline.
The
Yeah.
Back in the good-
substitute.
You don't do that today.
Well, I think he had.
he's a substitute.
Yeah,
He
he's
had like
Tom
that-
Berenger.
As a kid, was he a farmer? Like his dad had kind of a tough upbringing
Yeah.
for him and didn't approve of him
Right.
being a teacher. So
Right,
he
he
kind of had
did.
that mix of.
So
Yeah.
he had a chip on his shoulder about it, probably.
Yeah,
That-
he had some business interests. He started in a woolen mill, and the mill burned down to the ground in 1853. So he had some business adventures that made him one of the more well-to-do people in America. But these all pretty much failed in the early 1850s.
Right.
So he's pretty much starting over, when the war begins, and that's
Yeah.
why he jumps in on the 6th Wisconsin.
So he's basically broke when the war starts.
He's got some money, but he didn't have what he
He
did.
didn't have what he used to
Yeah,
have.
1853, 56. 56 is a recession.
Uh-huh.
They call them depressions then because you're depressed.
Right.
You just lost all your money,
Yeah.
And so that was 1856. So he's not among the more well-to-do, I guess, when the war starts.
Okay. But I mean, I guess did he? You hear sometimes these guys raise a regiment or something like
Yeah.
that, and often they foot the bill for what the men need. Did he do that? And
No.
was it that type of situation?
No,
or-
he was known because he was a schoolmaster and that sort of thing.
Okay.
From what I understand, when he organized the regiment, most of the officers didn't like him. He's too much of a disciplinarian. He's almost unapproachable, but they admired his tenaciousness in combat.
Mm.
So it's almost like, when you get to Adelbert Ames, who was the original colonel of 20th Maine, they hated him because he's inflicting discipline on them.
Right.
And then when they go in their first battle, he's riding around on his horse like nothing's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And he's telling them, this is what you need to do, stay calm, keep your heads down. And they said, we got to keep that guy.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much Cutler earned their respect. I
Okay.
think is the best way to look at it.
Speaking of earning respect, ladies and gentlemen, we have another contest. What's the prize for the contest, Mikey?
we're going to give away a shirt on the wonderful CivilWarTees.com.
That's right. Mikey is going to give you a shirt out of his own pocket of your choosing.
Any shirt they want.
Of your own
any
choosing.
size, shipped right to your home.
So here's the contest. It is Civil War rock and roll or rock band puns.
Correct.
Give your example.
It can be an artist. It can be a band. My example was Guns N' Rosecrans.
Okay. So put them in the comment section. Mike is going to monitor it throughout the show. And when we get to the questions, he will send me, he will give me a list of the top 3. And then I will put them in the comment section and you guys can vote on them there. Okay. Sorry, Charlie.
That's very good.
All right. So, all right. So they get into the action, right?
Yes.
The 56 is leading the way, 56 PA.
Yes.
I guess we should probably list the regiments.
Well, the 76 is leading the way.
Oh, 76 is leading the way.
New York, and then the 56, and the 147th. Following is Hall's Battery.
So Hall's Battery is in the mix.
He's following the brigade. About when they get to the Fairfield Road, he spurs ahead.
Hall.
And this is going to break up the brigade as they're crossing the Seminary because the 147th had to hold back to allow him to pass through.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a gap
Okay.
as they're going in.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're going to go parallel to the ridges. Once they cross Seminary, they're going to make a right turn, and they're using the ridge to try and protect them from artillery fire from Hers Ridge, which is occurring. I think there's 17 Confederate guns up there under Billy Pegram.
So in other words, they're on the east side of Seminary Ridge, behind the ridge.
No, they're on the west side of Seminary, east side of McPherson.
They're in the swale in between.
Yes, they're
Got
in the
it.
swell.
Okay,
That's
got
correct.
it.
Yeah.
So in total, though, the brigade is the 7th Indiana, 76th New York, 84th New York, 95th New York, 147th New York, and 56th Pennsylvania. The strength is 2017.
Right.
Well, they will end up losing 50%,
Right.
basically 1,002 by the end of the battle. Okay, so 76 is first in line. Then,
Yes.
sorry, and they go online and get into the fight. Isn't there some confusion in the beginning as to whether or not it's actually the enemy, or is that with the 56?
That's with the 76
That
when
is.
they come up. Yeah.
Okay.
They looked at the North Carolinians, and of course some of the North Carolinians. I mean, they're bidding against the Confederacy for stuff in Europe, and they're also textile. They have textile mills in North Carolina,
Okay.
and they're making cloth, and their gray is a darker gray.
Ah.
So it's almost like a what you call it, like a
gunmetal gray.
yeah,
almost?
gunmetal
Yeah.
gray. And so in the distance, it almost looked blue to the 76th, and they're going to take 3 volleys from the 55th North Carolina before they fire back.
You know, I had an experience last Saturday that really shed a lot of light on some of these accounts that we read in Civil War battles, especially the confusion part of it.
Okay.
You know what Mikey and Court know because they are reenactors. Do you know what a tactical is in reenacting terms?
A tactical.
Yeah. So like, you go to a reenactment and
Sure.
it's all staged and the
Right,
audience
right,
is there watching
right.
and all that. Well, oftentimes, like at dawn,
Yes.
the reenactors will just go off and basically play capture the flag or something
Oh,
like
that's a
that.
tactical.
It's a tactical.
I don't
right?
think it's in
They
Gibbons'
have to
manual.
figure out how to
Yeah.
get,
Sure.
And so they had one over at the Daniel Lady farm,
Sure.
and I know the guy who was running it, so I asked him if we could go and get some footage of them fighting without the audience and all that
Oh,
stuff,
cool.
So,
Yeah.
and he's like, yes. But you're gonna have to wear uniforms so you can be embedded with the troops. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So so we go and do that, and we're in the woods. They have objectives. There's like kind of a storyline to it that they have
Okay.
to follow and everything. It was actually really neat. But one thing I learned was how myopic your view gets.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. And how very quickly and very easily cohesion falls apart. And, I remember in the beginning, I'm focusing on what's in front of us.
Yes.
I was like, I guess with like the center unit that was kind of going out and like the skirmishers and stuff, trying to find where the enemy is. And then once they start shooting, up ahead. I'm like, okay, that's where it is. Next thing I know, I hear a volley over to my right rear, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And it's in the woods.
Everything's so fluid.
Everything is fluid. Everything is confusion. And when you're in the woods, I also really kind of got it. I was like, wow, this is what the wilderness must have been like, because you couldn't see 15 feet in front of you, right, with all the underbrush and everything. And so I believe that in a wide open field, they would be confused and take the North Carolinians for possibly their own.
Yes.
Right? Especially because nobody's wearing pristine uniforms.
They all look dirty.
They're all dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably faded too.
It's a place that it's the one thing that we fail when we look at maps and we analyze a battle through maps is everything looks very organized and clean. But when you're standing out there, the lay of the ground is a bit confusing. These guys have never been there in their lives.
Right.
They don't know
They're fresh on
anything.
the scene. Yeah.
And while that obviously that tactical isn't a reflection of real battle.
No.
Is it Abner Small, the 16th Maine, that comments? He says something like, anyone that says they remember what they did at the Battle of Gettysburg, like they're full of crap.
Yeah.
Because all you see is what's happening in front of you.
Right.
Yeah.
And everything else is who knows what the hell is going on.
No, I believe all of that now. And all I was doing was video. Yeah. But I'm also trying to follow what's going on.
Yeah.
And there was at one point, me and Derek, the other camera guy, we were both Confederate, on the Confederate side. So we were both wearing Confederate uniforms. And there was like a lull. And we looked at each other and we looked around us and we're like, how the hell did we get behind the Union line? And we were now in with the Union guys and we couldn't find the Confederate guys. Yeah. So it's very confusing.
Yeah, it sure does.
And I'm so glad we did that because that really helps me with this.
Okay.
It really helps me believe these things.
You can see how easily you can be captured.
Yes.
It's like incredibly easy.
Yes.
Especially in the woods.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. Anyway, so they think the North Carolinians might be them, but then what?
Well, then they open fire on them. Okay. Now the 56 is already engaged. What you got to understand, they're coming up over the ridge, and they're not real sure what's on the other side.
Now, when you say the ridge, so we're talking McPherson's Ridge, right?
Yeah.
But it's the northern part of it up by where the railroad comes.
Yeah, they cross. Now, what happens
There's a couple of photos for reference if we...
Oh, okay.
I'll find them, Court, and then you can go to them once I have them, okay?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Court.
But anyway, they stopped and talked. It was Wadsworth, Reynolds. I think Hall was there. Probably Cutler was involved in it, too. And they decided to split the brigade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the 76, 56 will go north of the cut. The 147th was supposed to follow, but they're behind. And then the 84th and the 95th New York will go to the left or south of the Chambersburg Pike by the McPherson Farm. And they're supposed to give Hall's battery, which is going to be put in an exposed position, support to his left, while the rest of the brigade, the three regiments, they're north of the Chambersburg Pike. We're supposed to give, support to the right so that he would have a brigade of infantry supporting him in that exposed position. The 147th, they come over Seminary Ridge. They don't know where to go. Okay, so the colonel just formed them, and he marched quick, and he saw 84th, 95th New York, so he marched over to the farm, the McPherson farm, and he's over there. And someone came and told him that he's supposed to be on the other side. So he turns his men around, he marches across there, and he used the ridge once again as a shelter. And he's going to form on the left of the 56th Pennsylvania. Okay. And then he's going to advance the regiment to be in line with Hall's battery at the railroad cut near where the guide shack is today, the stone building. There, so he's to the north of Hall's battery on the other side of the railroad.
On the north side of the railroad.
Yes, he's over there.
Okay.
And the other two are already engaged with the Mississippians and the 55th North Carolina. And I think the 2nd Mississippi is the one that they're dealing with. The 42nd is on the right of Davis's brigade, and they're hugging the Chambersburg Pike.
So we have a picture here taken from, what is this, taken from the road, Court?
Yeah, and I think the one prior to that shows where he advanced to. So, but that's
this one.
Well, maybe the one.
Well, okay, so this is from Buford Avenue. This is what we're So this is the 76 New York's monument, right? This one here.
The next one down.
Yeah, next one down.
Next one down.
But
So this is
close
56.
to the bus.
That's a
yeah.
56.
All right, hold on. Let me get to this one, then you can see it. So this is from the reverse side. So in other words, the Confederates are coming over the ridge in front of us here.
Yeah.
So that's the 76 New York.
Yeah.
This is the 56 PA monument here. You can see. We'll zoom in on that. That's what is that? Bronze.
It's bronze.
It's
Yeah.
bronze. Yeah.
Yes.
And there's what's his face, and there's the
Let's hope he has a face.
Wadsworth.
yeah Wadsworth. Thank
yeah.
you.
He's
There's
putting
the
him in
76.
position, Yeah.
So the Confederates now, the North Carolinians are coming over somewhere in this area here,
Yes.
and they're going to be pushing in. I'm guessing towards the railroad cut.
They overlap the line,
Oh, okay.
so they're able to get around. They form at perpendicular to the right flank of the 76.
All right.
And it's just blasting them away. And so that's when Wadsworth sees the problem, and he ordered those two regiments to fall back. And I guess I think some of them even fell back to the town. To the
So how long do you think they're out there fighting before that order?
No more than half an hour.
Okay, so
Yeah.
but they are out there for a good bit of
Yeah,
time.
they're out there enough to get shot up pretty good.
Yeah. And then Wadsworth, or I'm sorry, was it Wadsworth or Cutler who ordered them? What'd you say?
I said Wadsworth's the one that told
Okay.
him to come back.
Told him to come back.
Yeah.
Told Cutler to bring them
Yeah.
back. So where's he at this point? Wadsworth.
Wadsworth is probably along the Chambersburg Pike.
That's
watching
where I'd
things
be.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Iron Brigade is now starting to go into the woods, the Herbst Woods.
Okay.
They're on the left
So
as you look towards the Confederate line.
all right. So this all happens before the Iron Brigade even gets
Yes.
into the fight.
They're getting in it, but the Cutler's already starting to fade.
Okay.
Yeah. Now
Okay.
the 147th is still there. They
Still
don't go back with the other two regiments.
right now. What happens with that?
Well, they go out there and they're in a wheat field, and their colonel ordered them lay down, and so they're in the wheat field. No one can see them.
Okay.
Their own men can't see them. The Confederates can't see them, and they say the bullets were clipping the wheat.
There is a picture of
yeah.
the field.
Okay, good.
Take a look.
Yeah, and it's burying them in the heads of the wheat.
Yep.
Yeah,
Back a couple.
Back a
Yeah.
couple
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
yeah. So it's just they're still north of the railroad cut. Which
Oh,
would-
I see where you
yeah,
are here,
yeah,
Court. Okay,
yeah.
so this is what the
That's,
guide
The
station.
guide station. Yep.
They're
There's
to the
the
right of that.
They're up in this
Yeah.
area here.
Yeah,
So over these nice light green.
But the north side, right?
yeah, north side.
Right. So where these trees are, then.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
that's got to be that. Like I walked out there today just to
Ooh.
get some perspective,
Okay.
and I mean that's the only place logically you could be to get any type of field of fire beyond 50 yards. I don't know.
To where the
Yeah,
Confederates were.
If you were going to advance, I mean logically you'd be up on that little crest. I think.
yeah.
And I live on the other side of those trees. That's a steep ridge.
It is.
I mean, that is a
Mike's
like,
a hobbit.
Is he really?
It's a small hovel, but it's nice. I've got a refrigerator.
Okay, that's
All right.
it. That's all you need.
But no, that is, and it would make sense to go up there. And since 6 questions asked this super chat, Mike, thank you for the super chat. He asked, how does the Park Avenue, the Finnish Railroad, and the modern bridge obscure our understanding of the fight? And this was a comment I made to you earlier.
Yes.
That I usually drive through there because it's so hard to understand with how high that road is raised. You have monuments down below
Yeah,
you
you
here and
do.
over here, and it's just very hard to imagine what it would have looked like.
Well, let's look at the bridge first. If you look at the bridge, you can see there's two bridges. The modern bridge, which was built over the earlier bridge. You can still see the abutments for the earlier bridge, which had been lower than the current bridge. At the time of the battle, there was no bridge at all, so they had to build that up
Yeah.
to put the bridge on.
So that's.
Yes.
Did you ask Mike's question there?
Yeah.
You did.
That's what I'm
Okay.
doing, yeah.
That's what you're answering.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that-
I was
and
like,
that's
wow,
it.
that's coincidental.
And then the road is going to change a little bit of it, but not as much as the bridge over the railroad cut.
And the River Kwai.
The River
So.
Kwai, yeah.
Troubled waters. Wow.
Okay.
Are we allowed to use song names? for
Sure.
this?
Sure. You can
Okay.
use song names.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay.
Nothing wrong with that. It's just a quote. You're allowed to quote.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've always wondered that really all along McPherson's Ridge, even on the other side, the south side of the Chambersburg Pike,
Right.
how much of the buildup for the roadbed, or did they cut it down? Like how did that, or does it change our perspective?
I think it does change us a little bit because they're going to have to, put the roadbed out there and make it level. So they're going to have to alter where the road is. I think it's up a little bit higher.
So they raised the road.
They raised the road a little bit, Of course, remember the Confederates are attacking perpendicular to that road when they get to the railroad cut. Initially, they're going from left to right when they get caught in a crossfire, there by the 6th Wisconsin that was brought up by Doubleday to try and stop the, Davis's men from going, because if they keep going, they'll get behind the Iron Brigade. So he brings those over, and eventually they order the 84th and the 95th New York to leave south of McPherson's farm, and they're going to come across. They're going to start moving across, and this is when the Iron Brigade is pushing Archer out of the woods, because they engaged Archer initially.
Yeah.
Okay, and now Archer's men are retreating back to Her Ridge, and the Iron Brigade's in pursuit, so that freed them up to wheel and then move to the aid of Cutler's brigade, which they're part of.
Which is the rest of the brigade.
Yeah, and the 6th Wisconsin was held in reserve there by Doubleday. They were pretty much on Seminary Ridge when the Iron Brigade goes into the woods. Now the 147th is still out there. Okay, the orders were given to Colonel Miller to retreat, and as he's wheeling to tell his men to retreat, he's hit. Okay,
in the throat, right?
Yeah, they carry him off the field.
Right.
So the orders were never delivered. And Major Harney has his men laying down. He still thinks he's in support of Hall's battery. And when the orders were given, Hall's battery was still there. And then eventually they can't see the 147th New York because they're laying flat in the wheat. And so they decided we're not supported. And so Hall ordered his guns to pull out. So they're pulling out. The 147th is still there. In the meantime, what you have is the 2nd Mississippi, the 55th North Carolina are wheeling in on them. Okay. Because they know they're there. Just can't see them. And they're wheeling in on them. And all of a sudden, Wadsworth looks over and said, "What's that regiment doing there?" And the staff officer said, "Well, I don't know." He said, "Well, get him out of there." And so this poor guy has to ride his horse over there to give the orders to Harney to leave. And, he's mounted. Okay. Not a good plan.
I think, didn't he say that he laid down on the horse's neck?
Yeah, that's a lot what they do.
Yeah, I would.
It's not going to stop you from being killed, of course. If you get hit, the horse does too, but that's another story.
Right.
But he's riding, and he rode up the ridge, directly up behind the regiment. And he gave the orders to Harney, and Harney then started to bring his men out. They were divided by a fence. The northern companies, and I forget how many, maybe 3 or 4, were on the one side of a fence. The rest of the regiment was south of that fence. And so initially what he's going to do is wheel the right companies back along the fence so he forms a letter L. I think they all learned about the letter L at Gettysburg.
Because it'll come in handy later.
Because the 76th New York did it when the 55th was outflanking them.
Yeah.
So you always got to keep that L with you.
Right.
And understand it.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's there and he's trying to hang on, but they're getting hammered.
But so he's on the other side of the railroad cut still,
He
right?
is north of the railroad cut.
So
that's correct.
He's got to go back.
Yes, he does.
He can't just cross over because it's really steep at that point.
It's steep where he is. Go look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's steep there.
Yeah.
It's one of the steeper cuts. I mean, it's there, and then where the bridge is today, and then at the half cut down there at the seminary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's where you got to find a way around it.
Yeah.
Unless you want to break a leg.
But Cutler's brigade fell back to the woods anyway, right?
Yeah, they're falling back to the woods. There's a couple different accounts. I think they initially went back towards town. Because there was one account said that they were supposed to go and barricade themselves in the town.
At that point?
Yeah, at that point.
Oh, okay.
They're being flanked, and it looks like the Confederates are rolling. We got to barricade the town.
Okay.
Okay. And so the 147th, the ones who are right on the other side of the railroad cut, a lot of those guys are going to jump in the cut once they get to the point where you can jump in and use the cut to try and get away. The problem is the Confederates are in the cut too.
Mm.
And they're shooting up the cut, and then there's a lot of wounded in the cut.
Right.
So it doesn't facilitate rapid movement. Now the ones on the other side there by the L, the little end of the L, they're going to try and run back on above the cut, and there was accounts where the men in the cut were watching their friends being shot off the top into the cut on top of them.
Oof.
So it's a desperate moment for the 147.
God.
Okay,
Yeah.
they eventually get back, and they go back all the way to the edge of town as well. Okay. Now this looks like a disaster, but that's when they started the wheel, and now they got the Union running from left to right, let's say from west to east, and so they're going to go back in their original position, which is perpendicular to the pike, Chambersburg Pike, so they can pursue them into the town, and maybe wheel in behind the Iron Brigade when they get far enough down towards Seminary Ridge. And this is when the 84th, 95th, and the 6th Wisconsin are able to fire on them on their flank. And it's something because these guys, like you said, never been here before.
Right.
Never been here before. They don't know there's a ditch there,
Right. Yeah.
They didn't work for the railroad. Okay, so they're out there firing on these guys, and they see them turning, and they thought it was going to be a stand-up fight. Next thing you know, these guys disappear.
Yeah.
Where'd they go?
It's got to be confusing. Yeah.
Where'd they go?
Mikey the Hobbit
Should
grabbed
use
him.
Google Maps.
Yeah.
They would have seen
Yeah,
it right
well,
there.
yeah. They couldn't get a signal. We didn't have a cell tower. But the point to be made is, they're down there, and now these Confederates have a ditch. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is that we always say how the Confederates were trapped in the ditch. And that's not true. They're in the ditch on purpose, and they're putting fire back
Sure.
on the regiment.
Yeah. They thought they were getting one over on them.
Yeah,
And they
and so-
were for
And
a while.
they're down there, and they're putting fire on them. And this is when they decided to charge, they being the 6th Wisconsin, 95th, and 84th New York is to the north of the cut. The other two regiments are south of the cut.
Okay.
And they're going across. And the numbers I used to use with the 6th Wisconsin, if my small brain can remember, 402 men made the charge from when they got into the Chambersburg Pike, and then till they got out of the Chambersburg, they had to climb the fence, get out, and they made the charge, and they lost 240 men.
Yeah.
In that charge.
Mostly leg wounds, right? Or lower body wounds.
A lot of leg wounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which makes sense.
And the Confederates had the problem of having upper body wounds.
Yeah.
They're sticking
Which
up.
also makes sense.
Yeah. And now you look at the guy they found there.
Yeah.
In 1996.
Mm-hmm.
They found him. And of course, and I agree with them, they reburied him, I should say, as an American in the National Cemetery. But if you were betting FanDuel on it, who is this guy?
Right.
We don't know who he is, but we know he broken his left arm previous to the Battle of Gettysburg. That's their previous wound, or he had a farming accident or something. These guys all have accidents.
Right.
Right.
So it showed that his bone had healed.
His
in other words.
bone is healed. He was pretty healthy. He had all his teeth.
Wow.
Okay, so they estimate his age was probably in his 20s, maybe early 20s.
Okay.
They didn't have floss then.
Right.
So teeth is an indication of age.
Right.
All right. And from what I understand, the top of his head was what was hit. It was popped off like a Coke can.
Oof.
So if I'm guessing who he is, I would put the money on being a Confederate.
I would too.
Furthermore, there was porcelain buttons found in his rib cage.
Porcelain buttons found
the
in his...
Confederates are using wood, which wouldn't be there all those years, and porcelain to replace the brass buttons that the uniform had originally.
No kidding.
Yeah, they're using porcelain and wood. Now the thing
Never
to
heard that.
keep in mind, the Union are using rubber.
Mm-hmm.
Let them use rubber buttons. Goodyear, that's where he made his fortune, making buttons for the
Yeah.
Union Army.
Buttons and rubber ponchos.
And
and
rubber
blankets.
ponchos. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. And so I would guess he's a Confederate, but who cares? I mean, we're all one country now.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the other big guess would be the
Yeah.
fact that the Confederates buried a lot of their dead individually from July 1st.
Oh, that's true. They did.
And
Yeah, that's a
those,
good point.
And the
Very
Union
good
ones
point.
that were left out there by the time July 4th comes around, they at least recorded where they were buried.
Right.
Where was he found? Was he found in the wall or on the rim of the wall?
He was found on the rim.
Okay.
Okay, just down from the cut itself on the south side of the cut.
Okay.
And over the years, the dirt had started to wash out and these white things started sticking out of the ground. And a guy from Oregon, a Park Service employee, was transferring from Oregon to a Civil War battle site. He wanted to be on a Civil War site.
Sure.
Okay. And so he was walking the railroad cut, and he noticed these white things sticking out, and he realized they were human remains.
Yeah.
So he's the one that told him. This was in March, I think.
So it was a park. It was a park employee who noticed.
Yes, but he was on leave. He was, relocating, that kind of thing. So he's on detached service. Let's put it that way.
Okay. So he wasn't working.
No, and he saw that, and he told him, "You got human remains." And they came out and checked it out.
That was 96.
Yeah.
It was 96.
Was it that same storm that knocked out Sachs Covered Bridge that first time? Because
I don't know. It might have been
not the big one where they eventually moved it.
Right.
But now I got to look.
You look.
I think it might have been the same storm that would have eroded so much of.
Yeah, that could be. It was a big storm. Yeah.
I was 6.
Sachs Covered Bridge flood.
Yeah.
2022, 1996, June 19,
Wow.
1996.
Look at you. And Court was 6.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Well,
Court.
I graduated high school.
Court was 6. Yeah.
Court was 6.
He's 16 now. He
Yeah,
looks good.
that's right.
It looks good, Court.
All
You
right,
look good.
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now the thing is,
Charlie said I look good.
there you go. The white things are human.
Yeah.
Okay, so they go to Park Service. Park Service said, "Well, we can't tell anyone." So they buried him. Put dirt over it. And why they can't tell anyone? They don't know what to do with him.
Right. So there's no
Okay.
protocol for this.
Well, no, they don't want. They don't have protocol for bodies.
They don't.
No, they do now.
It's the okay.
Well,
I
they
was
do
gonna
now.
say.
They do now.
Yeah.
But they had to wait till they could get, figure out what to do and then get the money to do it.
Okay.
And so I think they took the money from the Department of Defense. They always have money to buy, $30,000 flashlights.
Yeah, and hammers.
Yeah. And so they got the money from them to exhume the remains and then photograph,
Yes.
send them to Washington, D.C., take pictures of them in the Smithsonian, and then they sent them back to us, and we had to bury them.
Yeah.
And that was on 1997. And that was the first time that the old guard did a burial outside of Arlington. First time ever.
Really?
Yeah, 1997.
But he was most likely a Confederate.
If I'm betting FanDuel, I bet.
But they didn't come to any conclusions.
No, they don't want to. He's an
Right.
American.
Right.
And let's leave it at that. But one thing was most important is we could prove he was a Civil War soldier.
Yes.
Because if he wasn't, then the FBI is still here asking questions we
Right.
can't answer. You see? So if you find a Civil War soldier in your yard, you're all right.
Yeah. There you go.
You can get by. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So where are we then? So in the story here, where do we leave off?
Well, we left off with the 147th being driven back and now the Confederates are moving and they were flanked, and they're going to get trapped in the cut as well.
There we are. The cut. Yeah.
Trapped, not because the cut's the cut, but because the Union rushed right up on them. Okay, and they were able to, point their guns down on them, and a lot of them surrendered to that. Can't get out.
Right.
You can't leave. Now, the 55th North Carolina, they're in the lower part of the cut. They're more towards Seminary Ridge. So they were able to excreate themselves. Now, some of them were captured in there, too.
Excreate?
Did I say that? Not excrement, excrete. Get themselves out. Extract themselves.
Yeah.
Extricate. And so,
Extricate.
Yeah, it's an extra thing you do. Okay, but anyway, the 2nd Mississippi's in there fighting, and they lose their flag there. To I think it was Waller, of the 6th Wisconsin.
Okay.
Takes the flag of 2nd Mississippi.
Waller.
Yeah, Frank Waller. That's right. Yeah, and so there was a lot of intense fighting there. But then, here comes Rufus Dawes. He comes up there, and all these Confederates are in there. Some of them still have their guns. And he looked at him. He said, "Oh my God, they got guns!" So he yelled at them, "Throw down their guns, or they were going to shoot." And he said, "Thank God they threw down their guns." And then everybody's trying to surrender to him,
Right.
because he's the highest-ranking officer there. You don't want to surrender to some lowly lieutenant.
Right. No.
You'll never be able to tell your grandchildren
Exactly.
that.
God forbid.
And so he's got all these swords, and the chaplain came up and said, "Look, I'll take them." And then during the retreat, he loses them.
Aw.
Yeah, he lost them during the retreat. But, it's just too many swords to handle.
Sure.
But then they were able to reestablish their line at that point. So that stabilized, Wadsworth's division. The Iron Brigade is stable, Herbst Woods, and now Cutler's men are stable on the, at least they're not being driven.
Right. I mean, because there's no solid line of Wadsworth's division.
No, there isn't.
Because you've got the Iron Brigade in the woods,
Right.
McPherson's woods,
Yes.
which is what southwest of where what's his face is Cutler is.
Cutler is, correct.
Cutler's in the Sheeds Woods,
Right,
which is basically on Seminary Ridge
right,
or Oak Ridge, I guess.
right.
And same thing. And Iron Brigade is on McPherson's Ridge.
They are.
There's a big gap there.
There is. They
The
look like the letter
Chambersburg
Z.
Pike goes right through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll change as
Yeah.
the day goes on, but
Yeah.
at that point at least. But
Yeah.
but it's kind of stops the fighting.
There's a lull.
There's a lull at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're catching their breath, bringing up help.
I mean, I wonder what forces Cutler that far, because as I'm looking on maps right now, there's a big gap between the right of the Iron Brigade and I mean back into the rear
Yeah.
where
Right.
Cutler is.
Yeah, that's true.
Now I know eventually Stone will come up and kind of fill some of that
He'll
space
do it,
in,
but-
but I wonder if it's the Confederate artillery on Hers Ridge that is going to keep them from being more forward out in that open space.
Well, yeah.
Because they had the superiority at that time of the battle, right?
yeah,
the Confederates bring
artillery,
them up,
yeah, they did. Now, they bring up
and they're coming
Caleb's
up on
battery.
Oak Hill too.
Yeah, they bring up Caleb's battery and put it where Hall was. So if you go to the battlefield today, you'll see two monuments there with two guns around them. One is Hall, one is Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
They were there at different times. And supposedly Caleb considered one of the best artillery units in the Union Army. And they were able to drive a few of the guns off of Hers Ridge. So they're doing their work, but there's still enough of them firing that the infantry notice. And then, of course, they're going to really have a problem when General Ewell arrives,
Oh yeah.
in his little buggy.
That's when it's
Yeah.
no longer a picnic.
No, it's not. And like I said, they were in pretty good shape there until around noon, let's say, when all of a sudden Ewell with Rhodes' division now comes up on their flank again. Yeah.
So that at that point, then Cutler's brigade has gotten into a position where they're kind of over by the Doubleday Inn.
Well, actually,
Right.
they were advanced back to their original position.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, they're in reverse slope.
Okay.
They're not where their monuments are on the ridge, but they're behind them.
Behind their monument.
Yeah, so they reestablished the line there
Okay.
because there was no threat to their right. So the right flank would be the stop sign where the road tees.
Okay. With
You know,
yeah.
76 New York there.
Yep.
And let me think, when they came back, I believe the 147th New York, for whatever reason, is on the right. They're the flank regiment. Okay, that's the 56 Pennsylvania, and then the 76 New York. And then the 6th Wisconsin, 95th, and the 84th New York and 95th New York are on the other side of the railroad cut. Okay,
Okay.
so there's a gap.
So
even in
that
the-
would be
yeah,
the Cutler's brigade's left.
left. And
Yeah.
then the Iron Brigade, and from what I see from the maps, and Mike just confirmed this, they aren't connected.
No.
There's a gap there.
Yeah.
Okay, and of course when Rhodes' men, when the artillery Carter's battalion comes around the woods, that's when they start moving back towards the Sheeds Wood.
Okay. Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So it's the artillery that makes
Yes.
them go back.
Because they can't stay there now. And then that's when they bring the 95th, the 84th, and the 6th Wisconsin over. So the 6th Wisconsin is fighting mostly
yeah.
with Cutler.
with a different brigade.
Yeah, with different brigades.
So
sure.
Carter's battalion, that's Rhodes.
That's
so,
Rhodes,
So they're
yeah.
coming in now. They've got the threat from the north
Yes.
over on Oak Hill.
Right.
You would have thought that they would have seen the peace light and said, "That looks significant. We better keep an eye on that
That's
hill."
right. Well, the original plan for the Union was to anchor the line on Oak Hill.
Mm-hmm.
That was the original plan. But the problem is the 11th Corps didn't get there before Rhodes did.
Right. Rhodes
Now at this
thwarted
point, Reynolds is dead. Now, whether you believe that he was supposed to fall back or barricade himself in the town, I don't care. He's dead. Doesn't matter. The men that are on the field believe they have to fight for every inch of ground.
Yeah.
Because they know if they lose this battle, they have to go home and tell their grandchildren why there's two countries here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know, and so basically what you see happening here is that they're when he comes down, Ewell's men are formed in that, Howard's men are formed in that great ground there opposite the Carlisle Pike. It's the worst ground
Ever.
that the Union has on the first day.
Yeah.
And that's why Barlow does what he does. If we want to just expand our discussion just slightly here.
Sure.
Because he goes out and anchors his line on that little hill. He's a division. It's a New York lawyer thing.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
we often talk about this,
Yeah.
when we're off air. Look, there's high ground. Let's go get it.
Right.
Okay. And so Barlow goes out and takes his 2 brigades and anchors them there. And Carl Schurz, okay, he's in charge of the corps, but he thought Barlow had received orders from Howard because they were riding through town together.
Oh.
And so then he advances to conform to Barlow's movement.
Okay.
And so they're out there in the worst ground ever.
Yeah.
And they're holding on until Juba Early arrives late.
Mm-hmm.
And when he does, they're gone. But anyway, in the meantime, Cutler's men are going to fall back to the edge of the woods. When I was naive, I thought they were in the woods. They were on the edge of the woods, and then when they show up, they're going to refuse. They're going to make the letter L again because it's the thing they do. And they made the letter L, and the 147th and the 76th New York are along a fence line in the woods, facing north. And the rest of them are along the right on the edge of the woods.
So are we talking now by the Doubleday Inn?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they weren't in the woods to start.
No, they were not. And of course,
That's interesting.
most of the brigade was never in the woods. Only a couple regiments wound up in the woods.
So even when they make the L, it's only a few regiments that
2
go
regiments
into the
are
woods.
in the woods. Yeah, 147th and the 76th New York.
And it's the north side of the woods that they're in?
Yes. I wouldn't say they're on the edge of the woods. I think they're kind of in them, just inside.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's where I'd want to be.
Yeah, and then the rest are facing, the other side.
But that's where Iverson knows that they're in there.
That's where he's going.
Right.
That's where he's going.
To attack them.
You're going
Because that's what they could see.
Now-
They don't know about Baxter. Is that
No,
right?
Baxter comes up as, Iverson's making his move.
Right.
Okay. Now, I don't care who goes first or second or third. Doesn't matter to me at all. But we know that Iverson's not going to have flank support.
Yes.
So to make it simple, they're supposed to advance at the same time, but O'Neill got ahead of them. And he's going to run into Baxter, who's deploying there on the Mummersburg Road, and elements of the 11th Corps, Wheeler, Dilger's Battery, and the 45th New York. They have a monument in the lane at the McLean farm that you can't go and see because they have a rule now that you can't go on these lanes.
Wait, you can't even walk on them?
I haven't tried that yet. But you can't drive in there. You can't drive in there. I mean, it's a monument. It's important. It should be accessible. And it used to be, but now it's not. Okay? So you need someone to work for you? Because I'm probably going to get a letter.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I disagree with this tremendously, as you can tell.
Of course. I do too.
That's
So
wrong.
do I.
Yeah.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
It's-
But anyway, they advanced up there, and they're going to flank O'Neill, who's down 2 regiments. Okay, they sent one off to try and find, to link with Doles down there, and the other one was somehow wound up with Rowe, or with Daniels on the other side of the line. So he's going in with 3 regiments
Okay.
instead of 5.
Huh.
And he's driven back. Now, Iverson can't see him.
Right.
Iverson doesn't come straight out of the peace line. He comes off to the left of it and comes in at an angle through the Forney farm, which is where the 17th Pennsylvania Cavalry Monument is.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're not advancing north-south.
no, he's going like
He's coming-
northwest, southeast.
Yeah, he's coming in
Yeah.
at an angle
Yeah.
because
Diagonal.
he's aiming for Cutler because he doesn't see Baxter.
Right. So first of all, Baxter's on the other side of the ridge, but
He is.
also Iverson's kind of too far away anyway.
Yeah, he is.
Even if Baxter was up on the ridge, but they were all laying down,
Yes.
how are you going to see them?
You don't.
You don't.
And then there's the contours of the ridges.
Right.
And so he can see Cutler.
And the
That's where-
crops and the farm buildings
Yeah.
and yeah.
that's where he's headed.
Yeah.
And then Baxter will wheel back, and as we know, he gets up behind a stone wall, not in front of it, like his monuments are today.
Mm-hmm.
He gets behind it, and he tells his men to stay down. They don't even put their flags up. And so as they're engaging Cutler, I mean, Cutler's firing into Iverson's men as they're coming across the field. That's when Baxter's men jump up and say, surprise! And they shoot right down their line. I mean, they decimate Iverson. He loses 500 men.
I know.
In less time it takes us to tell about it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's when they start. And even the 76th, and maybe the 147th, maybe the 56th, there might have been 3 regiments that actually advanced and took some prisoners from Iverson.
Yeah, there's a little marker.
Yeah, the 88th Pennsylvania definitely does,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they get
Yes.
some.
Yeah.
They have the
They have an
advanced
advanced
marker that's out
marker.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they advanced, but they didn't get any flags. The flags
no,
failed.
no
the
medals
Baxter.
for you then.
No medals.
Right.
No. Okay. And so this is another episode that Cutler was involved in that nobody knows. We should call this the Gettysburg Nobody Knows.
Wasn't there a book with that
It
name?
is. Yeah, that's
yeah.
Gabor Borat.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, Gabor Borat.
Yeah, that was one of the early books that I got.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Okay, so Iverson is stopped.
Yes.
But now they got to deal with Daniel, though, right?
Daniels wheels in on them.
Yeah.
And so they get back in the woods. Now they're all facing Daniels along the wood line. There's none of this L stuff.
Okay, so now the straight line
Straight
facing
line,
west.
Facing west. Of course, Daniels is now flanked by the Union troops like Stone on his right.
I was going to say that. So this is later on. Stone's
Yeah.
brigade is here,
Stone's
and so he's
here.
over by the McPherson barn,
Right,
Hall's brigade.
He's
that
the
area.
hinge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what Daniel is originally aiming for, right?
Right.
And then
yeah.
does he fully turn towards Cutler, or part of the brigade goes to Cutler? Like he splits,
part of
doesn't
it
he?
at least. Part of it at least. I think he does split because some of them get in the railroad cut.
Right. There's a
And-
second
yes.
railroad cut incident.
Yeah, and they come out of that, but they don't have enough push to drive Stone's men back. Although some of Stone's men were in the cut too, got trapped there. They couldn't get out.
Yeah, it's steep.
It's steep. These guys
Yeah.
are 5'6".
Right. And they didn't bring grappling hooks.
5'6" is pretty normal.
Oh,
pretty tall.
Mikey.
7, maybe 5'7".
Mikey would
Like
love to
Mike.
be 5'6".
Man, I would kill to be 5'7".
7.
I could probably dunk a basketball
Listen,
at 5'7".
you should be happy if you ever get to 5'4",
You don't have to duck
one
when you
laughed
go
at that.
into places, you
No
know.
one laughed.
because it's sad.
Yeah. So that's
yeah.
what's going on there. And then finally Daniels falls back, and that's the initial advance. Okay, now there's a resetting of the cards. They reshuffle the deck, and Ramsar comes forward there, and Ramsar and Daniels will be able now to attack the point of the Union line there at the truncated tower.
The truncated tower,
Yes.
right there. Yes.
Yes.
The short tower, Oak Ridge
Yeah,
Tower.
and that's where Paul is now.
Right.
Yeah,
Paul
so
will lose his eyes.
he will.
Ouch.
Bullet
think-
went right through his temples.
Yeah, I think I'd rather die.
I tell you what, it's got to be tough.
That,
It's
photo-
gotta be.
that photograph of his is rough.
Oh, it's
It
awful.
is.
It's just
And the headaches he must have had,
Oh my God, yes.
right?
Yeah.
No Tylenol, no Advil,
None of that.
no naproxen,
Whiskey
just whiskey.
and opium.
Plain old whiskey.
And opium.
And
Yeah,
opium.
And opium, yeah. So that's what's going on. And when they retreat, of course, Cutler's men are involved in the retreat. And they retreated down the railroad cut. They go into the cut at Doubleday and go to the railroad station.
Right. So they're in the lower cut where it's
Right.
basically it's where the ridges stop.
It's where the half cut is
Yeah.
because the college took the other half.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's by Mrs. Thompson's house, behind that kind of. Is that what you're
Yes,
talking about?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So go that
You
way.
can't see it because they have all these trees. In it.
Right. The
Yeah.
pine trees are all along that
Yeah.
ridge.
We don't
but-
have pine
but
trees
that
in
rim.
1863.
No.
They're too gummy.
Gummy.
Yeah, when you try and saw them, your saw gets stuck.
Oh yeah.
They're gummy.
Yeah, they're gummy.
They
had to
don't want
wait.
that.
They had to wait until they had those machines that
And
just
you
tear
can't
them
split
out.
them. Because even if you split them, they still stick together because they're gummy.
Yeah. And you don't want to burn them because then you'll get a chimney fire or some
Oh,
god
yeah,
awful
all
thing.
that tar gets in your
Yeah.
chimney.
Pine is a stupid tree.
man. Charlie really hates pine
He
trees.
really does.
I don't mind them.
No, you called him gummy like 8 times.
I did. What, was it 9?
Yeah. You really were trying to drive that point home.
Yeah, they don't have pine trees.
So
So we have non-historic trees on the battlefield. Don't tell anyone.
no, don't tell anybody
It's a
that.
secret.
Yeah. No,
At
that's
least you
another
can
thing.
cancel out the witness trees, right?
Yeah, well, got more of those than they think.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They'd have to, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so then so they go back into, originally they're supposed to go into town.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Where do they go in town and how long do they stay?
Well, they don't stay long because the 11th Corps is starting to crumble.
Right.
And so they're going to go in there, and I think they turn, once they get to the railroad station, they just go down Baltimore Street.
And go to Cemetery Hill.
Yeah, they're headed for Cemetery Hill.
Right.
Now, remember, the 7th Indiana isn't with them.
So let's jump over to them. So
Okay.
right now, Cutler's brigade is heading. Are they running or are they
No,
orderly?
Of course, you read their accounts, and they said they marched off in good order.
Yeah, because they're
Yeah.
ahead of everybody. It sounds like.
Yeah, and they're going through the cut. They marched. They were in columns. They go to the railroad station, realize they have to. Everybody's headed for the hill.
Yeah.
So they follow.
Okay.
Okay, and when they get there, what we find out is the 7th Indiana has arrived.
So
Okay, Ira Grover.
So let's jump over to them now. So
Okay.
while all this battle is going on, all this
Yeah.
fighting is going on,
Yes.
the 7th Indiana is where and what are they doing?
Well, the 7th Indiana is back. Let's see. They wouldn't be at Emmitsburg. Well, they might be close to Emmitsburg, kind of where they started, because they're watching the wagons and the cattle.
Okay.
Okay, that's he was told to stay there and watch them.
Yeah.
So he hears all this fighting, and he's a combative fella, and he decides to hell with the cattle. They can take care of themselves, and the wagons, no one's coming here anyway. And so he disobeyed orders and took his men to Gettysburg. And so he arrives at the cemetery before Cutler's men get there. So he sees Wadsworth, who's sitting there on a stone wall with his head down. And he says, "Oh, it's good to see you. You're lucky you weren't with us today, because most of your men would either be dead or prisoners."
Right. Now, but okay, so later Grover is going to be court-martialed.
Yes, he will.
Who court-martials him?
I don't know. Somebody.
It's not Wadsworth because he's
no,
happy to see him.
Nor is it Hancock or any of those guys that were there.
And it's not Cutler didn't initiate that, or
I don't think he did. No, it'd be interesting to know.
that would be interesting to know.
Maybe Mike could look for
Mike,
it. Who is it?
find it out, Mikey.
Failing to obey marching orders,
Yes.
You already looked it up.
brought
This little
to
bastard.
court martial by Lysander Cutler.
Okay.
Oh,
there we go. Yeah, that figures.
Daddy was
Yeah.
not happy.
That figures
That
because
figures.
Cutler's a stickler
Yeah,
for orders.
right.
So even though this guy did the right thing wrongly, he's going to want him court-martialed. That. Thanks for looking that up.
But, ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. He's exonerated.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
But I bet Cutler and the men would have loved to have had some cattle to eat.
The
I mean,
cows are still there.
but do they ever get to the battlefield?
Oh, well, they don't bring the cows to the battlefield.
Do they ever butcher them down
Sure.
where they are and bring some meat up to them?
Well, no, they go to, when they retreat where the cows are. They go back.
So
they
they
had
so they
some.
wait. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. What was it? I think it was in the 76th history I was reading where they said that they were told to it was the 147th, I think.
Okay.
At one point they were told to drop their knapsacks and everything or whatever.
That was on Seminary Ridge.
Yes.
That's where they dropped them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they got out of there, and if you didn't have anything in your haversack, you didn't eat for 3
He
days.
did. That's correct.
So I'm sure
I
they
don't
would have
think
loved
they,
to have had
I
a
don't
steak.
think they recovered their backpack.
No, I don't think so
Yeah,
either.
the Confederates got them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't want to keep your food in there or your ammunition.
Or the dirty letters from your wife,
Ooh.
right?
Yeah, that can be held against you in a court of law.
Or at least mocked.
But anyway, your water, food, ammunition is on your person.
Right. Never
all
leave
times, All
Yeah.
times.
it.
Except the 13th New Jersey.
What do they do with it?
They set it in front of them.
Oh.
Yeah, because they're there a while.
Okay.
The canteen and haversack sitting in front of the image of the soldier shooting his gun.
I would have put my canteen in front of me.
Yeah, that's where they put it.
Yeah, but then you're going to get...
Well, you know where it is.
well, yeah. But then if they get shot...
Yeah.
Listen, they're Jersey men. They know what they're
I know,
doing.
they don't know anything.
Water's
they
great
know.
at dissipating energy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. There you go.
What did you say?
Water's great at dissipating energy.
I
Yeah.
totally thought you said something else.
What did you? What did
I'm not going to repeat it here.
Maybe that's why I'm not as energetic as I used to be. I'm drinking more water.
Water poisoning.
I gotta stop.
Water poisoning.
Water poisoning. Water on the brain.
Oh, my wife says, drink some more water.
So, in the interest of time here, it's
Yes.
8:00 now. We got to get you going by 8:30. So,
Sure.
really quick,
Yes.
what does Cutler's Brigade go through? We don't need all the gory details, but
Sure.
essentially, just give us the next 2 days.
Okay. Now, when they get back, was either Hancock or Wadsworth. I think it was Wadsworth ordered the 7th Indiana to Culp's Hill. So they were the first.
I thought it was Hancock.
I thought it was Hancock too.
Yeah.
Ordered them to Culp's Hill, and then when the rest of the brigade come up, I think Wadsworth told them to go.
Right.
And go over there.
Go forward.
7th Indiana's over there when Ewell makes his reconnaissance.
Yes.
42nd Virginia.
That's who they bump into.
And they bump into him.
Yeah.
And they're captured. They captured some of the men in the recon unit. The rest ran back and said the hill's occupied. Now, remember, it's dark now. It's dark.
Now, by this point, though, because I said at the beginning of the show that the Cutler's Brigade takes about 50% casualties.
It does.
Are the bulk of them taken during the fighting out on the first day?
Absolutely. Except for the 7th Indiana, which doesn't suffer a lot,
Right.
even on Culp's Hill.
So they're down to basically 1,000 men,
Yes.
but are all 1,000 of them back at Culp's Hill?
They will be.
They
yes.
will be eventually.
Now they're coming up, and the 7th sent out skirmishers. The
Yeah.
rest of them didn't.
Right.
They don't have enough
They
men
don't
to
have
do
enough
it.
men. Right. It would
Most
be-
of them are under 100. When you look at 56, 76 New York,
God.
140, they're under 100 men. They're like company strength.
That's
The bulk of the unit, it's almost like the Irish Brigade.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
The bulk of the Irish
69.
Brigade, the bulk of the Irish Brigade is the 28th Massachusetts.
Right.
The rest of them are skeletons
Yeah.
at best, and
That's devastating though.
Yeah.
Lose. I mean, and then we're saying that about 50%, but the Iron Brigade lost what, 76%, something like that?
yeah, they're close, 68%.
68? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. I mean,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
like, in an afternoon or in a morning and an afternoon, a day's worth of fighting.
Yeah, I haven't figured it out, so I'm going to put it out there because this will get people fired up.
Didn't the 76th take the third highest number of
I think they
casualties
did.
for
Let me
battle?
look what they got here.
Well, let's see here.
62.4%.
it
The
was-
84th took 68%. Yeah, the 147th took 78%.
Or 147th was
Yeah,
third.
that's the one. 60 killed, 144 wounded, 92 missing.
60 killed.
60 killed.
One of the first
Wow.
things I ever tell people when they
Yeah.
come to visit Gettysburg, and I've been doing this since I was a kid, is to understand how regiments and companies are formed.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when we read these numbers
Yes.
and you think about these companies are usually drawn from a same part of a city or from a town or a township. Think of what that does to
Everything
that
back
area,
home.
the
Yeah,
economy.
yeah.
These are people that they're called volunteers not because they don't get paid,
That's right.
but because they're not professional soldiers. They have all intentions of going back home and resuming farming,
Right.
blacksmithing, teaching.
Yes.
And on a day like that, if you just look at Cutler's Brigade, how many of those New York communities and Pennsylvania communities are just absolutely devastated in
They
just
are.
2 hours or 3 hours?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Now, when you get back to the 7th, when they ambushed those guys, they went back and told Ewell they're occupied. So Ewell didn't try and take the hill. He
Right.
wants to wait till the morning. Ewell writes Meade a letter after the war. And in it, he said, "What would you have done if we had taken answering?" And Meade said, "I would be forced to retreat." So there wouldn't have been a battle at Gettysburg.
Right.
Okay, so that's how important Culp's Hill is. And the one book that McLean, that's his name, wrote, he wrote a second volume, which is a little better than the first. The maps are better, about the Cutler's Brigade. He said that this action, which is often overlooked, actually was instrumental in saving the Union, because by occupying Culp's Hill, they were able to stay in Gettysburg and not be routed.
Yeah. To me, everybody says that the key to the Union position is Cemetery Hill, but to
Right.
me, it's kind of Culp's, because if you don't hold Culp's, you can't hold Cemetery.
Yeah, there's a little bit of truth to that. Culp's Hill is 5 feet higher
Oh, is
than
it?
Cemetery Hill. I gave a talk back before the Ghost took over, and that was during Heritage Days. They used to have those things in the junior high, the old junior high.
Uh-huh.
I did Culp's Hill, and I said it was 5 feet higher. And one guy So, well, that's not much. I said, look at me. If I was 5 feet higher,
Yeah,
I would be seven. I would be seven. I'd be 11 feet tall.
Yes.
Would I have a career?
Right.
I wouldn't have to jump. I said, so height matters. I'm sorry, Mike, but it matters. You're 5'7" in my mind. Okay.
Thank you.
Don't let him tell you any different.
Oh, Mike.
And so that's the thing. I mean, you get up there, you're shooting down on Cemetery Hill, and the backside of Culp's Hill was open.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know. It's Culp's Hill to me is important because that's the first domino on the right.
Now, on July the 2nd, as all those men went over to save Little Round Top,
Yeah.
right, the whole 12th Corps is ordered off the hill. So that leaves Cutler, the Iron Brigade, and Greene was eventually allowed to stay. And so when the Confederates attack on July 2nd, they have 5,100 men, and most of them are going to slam into Greene. But the Jones's brigade is going to wrap around the hill, and they're going to hit Cutler as well as Goddard, 60th New York. It's there, and I think it's the ones that are attacking what's left of the regiments of Cutler to the right of the 7th Indiana, where they said it was so steep that we needed scaling ladders to take that hill.
Right.
That is wildly steep. If it's wintertime or the fall and you're coming down East Confederate Avenue, right where you get to that bridge and you look up Culp's Hill, where it is way more intimidating than Little Round Top.
Sheer cliff face.
Yeah,
It almost doesn't fit here when you think of all the other hills and ridges that on the Gettysburg battlefield in this region.
Yes.
Until you go up into the mountains, there's no other place like that part of Culp's Hill. It's like you need grappling hooks to get up there.
Just past the 66th, the left of the 66th Ohio.
Yeah.
Where they another 10 feet. If you continue on, you will fall and seriously injure yourself.
Even walking down to
true.
that 66 Ohio monument's dangerous. So if you go to where the Palmer marker is.
It is.
But where their left flank is, you can go there and you're like, oh, this is a great spot to be. There's no wonder when you see them go out there that there ain't nobody getting to that.
You don't want to
It's like
leave
the
it.
prow of a ship.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Looks like the prow of a ship.
It
does.
The best thing to do, Bob Steenstra and I did this years ago when I first moved back here in 2018. We parked the car down on East Confederate, right at that S curve.
Yes.
And we walked up into the woods, and that's when I first saw that cliff. And I was like, holy, and we went in the winter. You got to do it in the winter.
You got to,
But
yes.
it completely changes your perspective on Culp's Hill. And if you ever wondered, why was there no fighting up around here?
Yes.
That's your answer.
Yes.
Because you can't. You just can't. Did any of Jones's brigade try to get around to the right? Because there are breastworks that Cutler's brigade and the Iron Brigade have that continue towards Cemetery Hill. Did Jones's brigade ever try? Because there was
They wrapped around what they could. Now the problem is if you go further to the right, the artillery on Cemetery Hill is going to
get you. Yeah.
So they were that contained them.
Yeah.
And
what a great spot.
Even if you go around to the right, there's still breastworks.
Yeah.
So
you
really haven't flanked anybody.
Right.
You're still coming up against entrenched positions.
And it's kind of it's almost like the reverse of what Archer had with the what do you call it? The hole in the ground. What do you call that? The quarry.
Quarry, yeah.
We're
call it the pit.
yeah, well, same idea. But the quarry, they have to go around the quarry.
Yeah, they do.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's this hole in the ground,
Yes.
basically, right? Well, same thing here is you have to go around that face of Culp's Hill because it's a cliff.
Right.
It's too high and too steep.
See,
All right,
Jones
we've belabored that point.
Jones doesn't advance at all on July 3rd.
I wouldn't either.
I mean, you look at the maps that they show, especially like in Fawns and others, that final assault, they got Jones attacking. He can't.
Right.
He's behind the stone wall. He's happy there.
Yeah.
And that's where he is. If he attacks, the 66th Ohio is toast. Other than the fact that they have a better position.
Yeah.
He's not going to move him, I don't think.
And if they wrap around, don't they run into the 33rd Massachusetts?
Well, if they get all the way around, yes. Yeah, they're over there.
Oh, yeah.
If they get far
The
enough, they'll take
Yeah.
rifle fire into their flank.
Yeah, and of course at the time they're thinking of wrapping around, Early hasn't attacked Cemetery Hill yet. And so all those units are still along the stone wall looking into the fields, east.
Yeah.
And so if they come around, they're going to get artillery fire and rifle fire on their
And
flank.
that position is so good too. That those Iron Brigade entrenchments,
Oh,
those
yeah.
little like World War I looking winding
Oh,
entrenchments.
yeah.
If you stand there again on a fall or winter day, there's nobody coming up there.
No.
You have a clear field of
No.
fire. What it must have looked like for them to see Avery go across in front of them.
Oh yeah,
Oh, my,
and
yeah.
the flashes, and it must have been
to watch
unbelievable.
that. Yeah.
Pyrotechnical.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
display.
Let's take a call from Peter Zach. He has a
Okay.
call here about Cutler's Brigade. Peter, you are on the fake air, sir.
How's it going, everybody?
Oh, wait, hold
Good,
on,
good.
Peter. Hold on. Let me, I'm sorry. This is my fault. Hold on
It's
one
Matt's first
second.
show,
This
so
is
bear
my
with him, Pete.
first time doing a show here. Let me get, let me
That's
get it
Hit that. Yeah.
attached to the thingamabob there.
Carry the two.
Carry the two. There we go. Go ahead, Peter. You're on the air, sir. Sorry.
No problem. How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Wonderfully.
Yeah.
Wonderfully.
Nice.
Wyatt,
Hey,
I am
my
rolling.
My question, Charlie, is for how far out was the 56 and 76 New York when they first got hit by the 2nd Mississippi and 55th North Carolina? Were they in that bowl?
They were pretty close to where their monuments are. Initially they were up on the ridge and then they fell back into what you call the bowl. But their right flank was on the road that's there now.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I thought they went a little bit further, like forward,
Okay.
where that cornfield is,
Yeah.
and then that bowl.
Yeah, I think they were going to. I've seen some maps where they just pretty much stop on the west slope of the ridge where their monuments sit, and then they could see the
Okay.
yeah, and that's when the 76 thought they were Yankees with the 55th North Carolina, so they didn't get much
Okay,
beyond
and
where their monuments are.
Okay, and was their objective going out there is to kind of replace where Devon was, where the 6th New York and
Yes. Now Devon's
Culp.
skirmishers were driven back towards the Forney farm when Davis advances. So they're actually going a little bit north to kind of get out of the way, not only of the Confederates, but also the Union infantry coming up. And so they're making room for them to replace them. That's true. Yes.
Okay. All right, because I'm trying to help a friend out with his family genealogy stuff, and
Okay.
because he had a relative that was he was wounded, in that first engagement,
Uh-huh.
and then he died on like August 8th.
Yeah. Yeah, you might want to have him read McLean's book on Cutler's Brigade. Yeah, he wrote two.
Okay.
He wrote two of them. The one's a blue cover, and that was written back in the last century. And then the new one is in a black cover with a red face on it, and that's the one I would get because he has more information in there, so that might be helpful.
Okay. All right. Great. That'd be.
Was that the
That'd be
Army
cool.
of the Potomac series books?
Yeah, it was one of the Army of the
Yeah,
Potomac. He
okay.
he redid it for the Army of the Potomac. That's correct.
What's it called? The Bullets Flew Like Hail, I think is what it's called.
yes.
That's what it is.
Yes,
That's the
yes,
name.
yes,
You can get it on Amazon.
Is that
Or
Jim
Steph Speedy.
McLean?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Peter?
Nope. I appreciate it, guys. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank
Hey,
you,
thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
All right. Let's get to. Oh, did you finish the story with them?
Yeah,
Okay, we're done. All right. Now let's get to the questions here.
Oh, no.
okay? All right. Good. Let's see.
Don't ask anyone I can't answer.
Oh, here's a new name, Chris Mowell. Chris, welcome to Patreon, and thank you for sending in a question. He says, in General Cutler's official report after the battle, he mentions the actions of Sergeant Hubbard of the 147th New York. Sergeant Hubbard commanded the provost guard of the brigade. General Cutler commends Hubbard and his 18 men, 12 of which became casualties, and almost recommends a promotion for Hubbard. Do you have more information on the action of Sergeant Hubbard and his men? Did he receive his promotion or any medals or accommodations? And finally, was it typical for a provost guard to be put into action or only upon emergency shortage of men?
Yeah.
Shortage of men.
Okay, so provost guards are usually only used when emergencies. There's 18 and 12 were casualties. He was commissioned after the Battle of Gettysburg, so he did get a promotion.
Okay.
And he was fighting more over towards, if I remember correctly, over towards the McPherson Farm.
Oh, okay.
Was where they were.
Ty Webb says, would Charlie be able to discuss the argument between the 56th Pennsylvania and the 2nd Wisconsin about who fired the first volley of the battle? I'm a big Iron Brigade guy, but it seems that the laws of time and space would have had to break for the 2nd to fire first. Just wanted Charlie's take if he has any, if he thinks there was any chance it could have been the 2nd that fired that first volley.
Well, the 2nd fired the first volley of the Iron Brigade. Okay,
there you go.
But the 56 actually fired the first shot, first volley on the field. The Iron Brigade's still deploying when the 56, 76 go up on the ridge and engage Davis's brigade.
Right.
Okay, so that's definitely the 56. I thought he was going to take the argument between the 76 and the 56, who fired the first volley. And there was not much of an argument because the 76 knew that the 56 Pennsylvania fired the first volley. So
even though they were second in line.
Yeah, they didn't get up in time. I mean, the 56 got up on the ridge, even though they were second in line. They deployed and advanced ahead of the 76 New York.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
Yeah, okay.
got it.
But,
Paul Grant says, how and when did Cutler go from being a colonel in the 6th Wisconsin to a brigade commander in a different brigade?
that was in
March of 63.
Yeah, I think it was in 64.
No.
It was, what?
63. When he went from colonel of the 6th Wisconsin
well, you
to...
said in a different brigade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
He meaning
yeah.
not
Okay.
the Iron Brigade.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how, though? What made it so that he got the promotion?
That brigade was reorganized. They added the 147th and the 84th Brooklyn because of the units that were mustering out. There in 1863, some of the 2-year units, and so they had to reorganize some of the brigades, and what became Cutler's brigade was one of them.
It would be good to point out you said 84th Brooklyn, but you're not totally wrong, right? Because
Right, it's
84th New York
That's
is
a great way
the
to
14th Brooklyn.
Right.
Yeah.
They have a 4 in it anyway.
Yeah, both are 4.
Yeah.
Matt King, he says to Charlie Fennell, what model trombone do you play?
I play a Bach 420.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's what I play.
I didn't know they had different models of trombone. I
It's a little bigger bore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
So does that give it a deeper sound?
it does.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it makes sure I don't blast.
So you're like a baritone trombone.
It's a more mellow sound.
A
It's
mellow.
deeper.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can use it to play, bass trombone.
That kind of like this. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Court.
go ahead.
That's really good, Court.
Boy, that just sounds like me.
I was going to say, let's have Charlie bring in
I
the
have a-
instrument,
I
but
have
what the
a-
hell do we need him for? We got
I have a
Court.
smaller Bach, but I don't usually use that. That was my son's.
Real artist
Okay.
doesn't
Yeah,
need the
yeah.
instrument.
Yeah.
All right. Chris Kavulich says the 1st Corps took a lot of casualties on the first day. We know the 7th Indiana went to Culp's Hill that evening, followed by the rest of the brigade. Was the brigade in reserve in the area between the summit of Stevens Knoll, between the summit and Stevens Knoll, or were they on the front line for July 2nd and 3rd? If they were in reserve, what would that look like? So they're on the front line.
They're on the front line.
And some of them are sent to help Greene.
Right. Now, I think the 84th New York and the 6th Wisconsin
Yes.
were held in reserve. I mean, they weren't on the front line initially. They're going to be the ones that are going to be sent to help Greene's flank.
And here's a good question. He says, finally, did the 1st Corps divisions essentially operate independently from one another on the 2nd and 3rd due to their physical separation, or did John Newton and staff actually play a role in commanding them? It is over a mile as the crow flies between the 7th Indiana Monument on Culp's Hill to the Vermont Brigade Monument on Cemetery Ridge.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think Newton's commanding the 2 that are on the Cemetery Hill and Cemetery Ridge. I think the ones that were left on Culp's Hill pretty much know what to do.
Yeah.
So he has very little impact, to my knowledge, on them. But the other 2, he has influence with. Yeah.
Joseph Jacobs says, was Cutler, pardon me,
Yes.
was Cutler ever considered to command the Iron Brigade after Gibbon was promoted to division commander? Also, how did the casualties in his brigade compare to the rest of the 1st Corps? Well, we kind of talked about
Yeah.
how it compared to Wadsworth's division, the other brigade, the Iron Brigade.
Yeah. Now the First Corps suffers 49.7% losses in the battle.
Does that include Standards Brigade?
Yes.
Then it's so it's essentially high. I mean, I don't mean to cut out Standards Brigade, but
I think I'd have to
because they're a huge brigade and they don't
Yes.
suffer nearly.
Yeah,
what the
two
other ones
regiments
do.
aren't even here.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's the ones that would get gauged. But the Cutler's Brigade, I've seen two figures. The more accurate one, 2017, 1,002 casualties, 49.7%, which is exactly what the First Corps sustained. So roughly 50% each. Yeah, and most of that the first day. I mean, vast majority of that's first day, morning and afternoon.
Okay. Joseph Jacobs. No, I just read that one. Brian King, sorry. Brian King says, how did learnings gained in key engagements prior to Gettysburg help shape Cutler's brigade?
That's a good question. Now they, one of the things that shaped was they knew what to expect.
Okay.
You know, when they go in, I mean, they were at Antietam, they were at 2nd Manassas. So these regiments are veterans. And so the learning that they learned there was, how to proceed and what to expect when they do. So I think it really helped them. You know, experience always is a good thing.
Makes you wise.
Makes you wise. The two things that will determine how you make decisions in your life are education and experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
You know, that's a thing, unless you're married, and then there's another thing involved. But we won't go there. Okay. Now, the thing is, I forgot to answer about Cutler. There was no consideration of putting Cutler in charge of the Iron Brigade because he's out of it now. So when they promoted, after Gibbon left, they promoted within the brigade.
Okay.
And the Union try and do that if they can. So once Cutler gets out and takes over the command of that reorganized brigade there in March of 1863, he's pretty much there. They're not going to shake up that brigade to put him in charge of the Iron Brigade.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then he had a second question. How did the leadership structure of the brigade evolve over the course of the war? Did it help overall morale or make the brigade better
That's a good question. You know, it's one of the things, I mean, they had some pretty good officers, obviously, and those guys get shot. Okay, so I think as you go on, you're going to find that the officers generally might not be as good as the one they're replacing. On some occasions, they're better. Okay, so it's going to be a different mix. They're not maybe as familiar with the men to some degree, especially as officers in charge of companies and that sort of thing. But chances are they come out of the ranks anyway. So I don't think it's going to have much of an impact in the long run. Okay, what has an impact to me is if you take a company commander and make him a regimental commander, because that's a different level. Okay, there's different problems there. There's different things to consider. Or taking a regimental commander and making him a brigade commander.
Yeah.
Okay, sometimes they don't do as well as they're promoted up.
Yeah.
Okay, the Peter principle, I guess, is what they say. You're promoted to the point of incompetence.
Right.
And so that's, and I'm not saying that happened in Cutler's brigade. It seems to be a very fine. It's a shadow of its former self when you get after the Wilderness. The Iron Brigade's history ends at Gettysburg.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still in the war, but what made them the Iron Brigade is gone.
Okay.
It's gone. And Alan Nolan, who wrote the first history of the Iron Brigade, he's dead now, unfortunately, but he contacted me because he wanted to see where they fought on Culp's Hill.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he came and we went out in the woods. I said, "Here, you see these little monuments? That's the Iron Brigade. That's what's left of them after the first day."
Yeah.
And he started laughing. He says, "You're right." He said, "The Iron Brigade, as we know and love it, ended
here
at Gettysburg."
Yeah. 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 Well, and you're right. If you go to those
plank marks,
that's really what they look like. Yeah.
Look at the Michigan, 24th Michigan.
Yeah.
It's a big monument on the first day.
Yeah.
People just go, well, they don't even stop and look.
No, you don't even know to look. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many times for years driving down that road, I never knew that was there until maybe 5 years ago.
I always point it out and make people read what's on it. 99 answered.
Yeah, 99.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
Think
Yeah,
about that.
jeez.
Just think.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Highest losses in the Union Army,
Yeah.
numerically.
That's so hard to fathom too. You get up in that morning with your buddies and you're joking, singing as you're marching in, you're stealing cherries or apples or whatever, probably not
Don't
apples,
eat
but
the apples.
yeah, right. Not apples, but you're boys, you're young men, you're out on this adventure,
Yes.
and by the time you put your head down to go to sleep that night, all those guys are gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
Maybe everyone you've known for years.
Yeah.
It's
That
just-
could very well be.
Awful.
Yeah.
Phil Fucus says, I have always wondered if Cutler's brigade was just outnumbered or there was a tactical error. Could they have adjusted or were they doomed?
I think the answer is yes.
It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, because they were outmaneuvered initially, and if they'd have stayed where they were doomed.
Mm.
Okay, so they retreated back into the town and got out of the way. Okay, yeah. So the tactical error was not so much of their doing, because they didn't have enough men to extend the line as they advance up in the morning of July 1st. Davis's brigade is going to overlap them. Maybe the tactical blunder or mistake, I don't know how much a blunder it was.
The cut.
Yeah, the McPherson farm.
Yeah. The cut.
Yeah, the McPherson farm.
Yeah.
And so,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Cutler goes in with 3 regiments instead of 5.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess I can see why he does that coming up. He's relieving the cavalry.
Yes.
Right.
And the Iron Brigade isn't up yet. So there you go.
Right. You got to do something
Yeah,
there.
So that's why we say the 56 fired the first volley,
Okay.
except in Wisconsin.
Right. Yeah. There's a.
Got 2 super chats.
Oh, 2. All right.
yeah.
Go
The
ahead.
first one was from Matt G, who donated to help with the pizza,
Thank you,
Ooh,
Matt.
which is
Thank
good.
you.
And I pointed out pizza is healthy. It's got tomatoes and calcium.
Oh, wow.
So we're just
I'm so
and then
happy.
and then Michael P donated and said, "Love when Charlie is on." I don't agree with that. Make sure you give some money to Charlie for beer money.
Oh, beer
Oh,
money.
right.
Michael, Charlie owes us
Yeah, I
for
do.
beer money. So
Well, that'll
this
help
is
me
called
get
a
out of
debt
debt.
paid.
I gave Mike gave Charlie some of my whiskey before. I think.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think it was.
Jeez, he told me it was iced tea.
Mike, you got to stop tricking people with
I
that.
slipped some more into his coffee. That's why he's so
Oh, my
bubbly
God.
today. He's just gulping it
He's gonna
down.
have a rough night.
Yeah, I'm gonna be driving in circles.
All right, Grant here, and then we'll get to the winner of our contest. We had some good ones there, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
bet.
Grant, he says he's got 3 questions. Let's see. He says, do we know how many rounds of ammunition per man the 56th Pennsylvania expended before withdrawing on the first day, and whether their ordnance reports survive in any brigade level paperwork?
Okay, it's a good question. I haven't checked those out. I do know that they were out of ammunition at the end of the day, and that's one of the reasons why they were pulled off the line after they helped defeat Iverson. So generally, you go in with 56 or 60 rounds. You start with 40, and they give you 20 more when the battle's imminent.
Mm-hmm.
Now they probably were able to replenish some of their rounds from the dead and the wounded,
Okay.
as was often done.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm not real sure how many they fired, but I'll tell you, it's probably close to 100 rounds that they fired on July 1st at least.
Okay.
Number
2, has any analysis been done on the precise location of Lieutenant Colonel Francis Miller of the 147th when he was mortally wounded relative to the McPherson barn or Chambersburg pike?
Okay, he was wounded. It was proved mortal, of course. He was behind the ridge to the right of Hall's battery.
Okay.
So he's north of the cut.
So like behind Reynolds' statue. Oh, wait, he's north of the cut.
on the other
right,
side of the
right,
railroad
right.
track.
On the other side.
By that,
Be on the other side of the cut where the 147th is going in.
Okay.
And that's where he's hit. He was behind the regiment when he received the orders to retreat, and then he was hit.
Okay.
So he wasn't south of the cut. He wasn't by the barn. He wasn't by the famous railroad cut. He's just to the right of the other one. which is to the right of Hall's Battery where the regiment was.
Yep.
So that's where he was.
All right, and then finally, number 3, he says, when Cutler personally rode forward with his brigade on July 1st, do we have any contemporary evidence about his exact physical location relative to the railroad cut during the initial deployment? For example, whether he was directing the 147th New York on the north side of the Chambersburg Pike fence line or closer to the 76th and 56th Pennsylvania, and whether his reported, quote, conspicuous exposure to enemy fire, end quote, was noted in brigade level after action reports versus only in later regimental histories.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea what he asked you there? Because I don't.
Yeah, he's not a coward.
Grant?
No, Cutler.
Oh, Cutler. Yeah, Cutler's not either.
So he's near the front. I would assume, because I'm not a Cutler aficionado. I like him as a commander. I assume he's somewhere along the Chambersburg Pike because he's got elements to the south of the Pike, north of the Pike, and I think it was he that noticed the 147th was not where it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So he would have to be there where he could see the McPherson farmyard to see the 147th isn't going where it's supposed to go.
Right.
Okay, so that's probably where he is. He's probably more in the center of his brigade. He's the one that actually ordered, the 84th and the 95th to wheel out to stop the Confederates from advancing after the 56th and the 76th and the 147th eventually all started pulling out towards town.
Okay.
So I think that's where he is in the most part. Did he go down to the right flank and take a look? Probably. Did he stay? Probably not. Now when they pull back, he's probably along the wood line there at the Sheeds Woods, check and make sure everybody, and he's probably one that ordered them to make the L. So, he's very much involved in the direction of his brigade.
Yeah. So he's a leader. It's just not always
and
nice.
That's what people say about it. He's just, you don't want to work for him.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. Well, thank you first of all, Charlie.
Well, thank you for having
your
me.
time and coming in and doing this.
Thanks for the questions, Pete.
Yeah, those were good questions
they were
for
good.
sure.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to end the poll here, which will be, of course, our vote, and we're going to see who won what. Best Civil War pun band name.
I can't wait.
All right, the 3 choices were Sherman and Garfunkel, Steely Dan Sickles, or Fleetwood Little Mac.
Ooh, these are good.
And the winner, with 47% of the vote, just like the Bush, Clinton, and Perot election, the winner does not even have 50% of the vote.
Right.
The winner is, ladies and gentlemen, for a T-shirt of their choice from Civil War Tees. Do you have 3X?
I've got any size.
Because I got people asking, we had to make 3X.
Absolutely.
Any size you want. Okay. Any size, any design. The winner is Sherman and Garfunkel.
Hey.
Yeah, Sherman and Garfunkel.
That comes from Dustin Wise.
Dustin Wise. All
Very
right,
good,
Dustin. Very
So,
good.
Dustin, if you can get a hold of me either by going to the website civilwartees.com and sending me a message there, or
you can send me an email.
Or send Matt an email.
Dustin, I'll put you in touch. I have his phone number. I will text him.
Just give me a call. Dustin.
Yeah, just
trying
give Court
to
a
avoid
call.
you having to speak to Matt.
Yeah,
I
well, you don't need to speak to me. You could just I'll send you both a
Okay.
text. Okay.
Okay.
And listen, there were some other good ones in here, though. It was
Okay.
it must have been really tough for you to choose.
So I picked 6 of them and put them into a randomized generator to pick 3.
Oh,
'cause
really?
I thought that was the fairest way to do it.
Yeah, that's a good Pap Green Day.
Yeah.
I liked that
was
one.
good. The what was it? Iron Brigade and was pretty good too. Like Iron Maiden.
Oh, Iron Brigade and
Iron Maiden.
I didn't see
Iron
that one. That's
Brigade.
good.
Yeah.
Cutler, Stills, Nash, and Young.
Oh my God.
Gary Puckett and the U.S. Grant.
Courtney, what was yours? that
I
you
like
had?
this one that Gene had.
Hold on.
Talking Headless.
That's a
I
good
like
one as
that
well.
too.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
pretty macabre, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Court had
Court
an
had a
amazing
good one before the Battery E Street Band.
Battery E Street Band.
Well, I like
Bruce
that. yeah.
Springsteen and the Battery E Street
Yeah.
Band.
Heard it was in the Battle of Gettysburg. Then who else? What was there? Was another one that you had?
I like Mike's.
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, that was great. That was the
really
best
good.
one.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
good.
that was a good one.
Cutler Clearwater Revival.
That was a good one.
Oh my gosh.
Oh God,
was
what
good,
else
too.
here? Sly and the Family Stonewall. General Lee Roth.
Governor K. Warren Zevon.
Yeah, that was a great one. That made it into the top 6.
Oh
my
man,
God.
Governor K. Warren Zevon.
I think that was Rich.
Great.
That is
Yeah.
good.
Rich
Yeah.
Snyder had that one.
I think.
That was
Yeah.
good, Rich. That was
Yeah,
good.
It was really good.
I can't believe that the randomizer didn't pick that one. I know it's just a
No,
randomizer.
I mean, it's a randomizer.
Yeah, I know, but
yeah.
that
What
would've-
does it know?
it doesn't know anything. Rich Condon was 7 in 1996.
All right.
Black Sabbath Sickles, Stella Beard. Let's see here. Sherman and Garfunkel. Yeah,
That's a
there was
good
that.
one.
Yeah, I like that
yeah.
one. Stonewall Temple Jackson. Oh, Stone Temple Pilots. That's good.
Yeah.
I love that band. Let's see. Charlie Fennell and the AG Baltimore Street Band.
Okay.
Jeff, you're stretching it there. It's 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag there, Jeff. You know?
Jeez. I mean, he's not wrong. Jeff.
I know him. I know Jeff. I'll see him on Saturday. Hey, you know what? I hope to see. Well, I don't need to hope to. We have tickets that are sold. If you're coming to our Get Out of the Car tour on Saturday, thank you very much. We're going to be down at Antietam with Scott Hartwig,
Ooh, cool.
and it is a fundraiser for the Digital History Pioneers. So I appreciate you guys coming to that because it's going to be fun. We're going to have a fun time. Then we're going to go to Shepherdstown. Some of us.
Ooh.
We'll go to Shepherdstown and we'll have a little meet and greet and book signing with Scott and Jen Murray, and it'll be a grand old time. So we're going to have fun with that. And then only one more Get Out of the Car tour this year in October. We're doing African Americans at Gettysburg, I think on the battlefield. So that's it. Everybody, Court, you did a great job.
Great
Michael,
job,
you did a
Court.
great job. Charlie, as always,
Thank you.
pure pleasure. We will we'll talk to you all next time. Thanks for your calls, questions, and super chats. Bye-bye now. I think I have more time. I thought I was going to hit my post with the music. And
Addressing Gettysburg's
there it is.
Ask a Gettysburg Guide is hosted by Matt Callery, with Mikey B. Bariski, and Courtney Micker. Produced by Matt Callery and Courtney Micker. Guides appear gratis, but they would love for you to hire them for a tour on your next visit to the battlefield. To be put in touch with one, send an email to matt@addressinggettysburg.com. Thanks for watching.
Our hearts so stout have got us fame, for soon 'tis known from whence we came. Wherever we go, they dread the name of Gary Owen in glory. Instead, follow drink down there and pay the reckoning on the nail. No man forgets, just go to jail from Gary Owen in glory. Instead,